Okay, so what is business consulting and why is it important that you know that? And what are some of the more well-known or prestigious consulting firms? Okay, to start with, what is consulting? Well, generally, think of it in this way, that there are companies that do what they do, right? They provide a value proposition to a customer, client, or end user. In return, they receive whatever value they're looking for, hopefully, if they stay in business. And generally their objective is to expand, to receive more value, enter into new areas, etc. Okay, so they have expertise in what they do, and they have professionals in the organization that are able to add the resources necessary to the business to carry out that value proposition, to deliver that value and to receive the value back, right? And that's the role of the marketers, the salespeople, the accountants, the finance people. All of those people are in support of whatever value proposition is being delivered, whether it's selling a product, selling a service, licensing a software, whatever, okay? But oftentimes these organizations, as part of their growth, as part of their expansion, as part of their contraction, right, they undertake activities with which they are not terribly familiar with which they do not have the level of expertise that they have in their core area, right? So for that reason, these companies hire outside professionals, individuals who, in theory, hopefully in reality, have some level of knowledge and expertise in this area or function. So they bring in these individuals as part of a group. These are consultants, right? And they bring them in generally as a team, and they undertake research, they learn about the organization, and they make proposals for how to carry out whatever task, objective, or function is on the plate, right? And sometimes there is no specific task or function, it's just trying to make some level of improvement to something that's existing, and the company wants a third party or outside perspective to provide guidance, advice, information on how they could improve the process, how they could do it differently, things like that, right? So those are the overall purposes behind why companies bring in consulting firms. And I can tell you, of the Fortune 500 companies, nearly all of them have consultants within the organization on staff at all times. Sometimes a substantial portion of the workforce present at a large corporation are outside consultants who are, again, with another organization, a consulting firm, and they come in, and oftentimes they don't come in as teams, they work as individuals within functional areas within the organization. But that's more common with specific skill areas of consulting, like technology consulting and things. When you have teams come in, it's more for a project, right? Like a merger and acquisition, a spin-off, a combination, something like that, where the team comes in and again does the research necessary, makes the recommendations on how to proceed or how to carry out that activity better. Okay, so the actual structure of how the company relates to the consulting firm will vary a little bit simply based upon what type of consulting is being done. And there are lots of areas of consulting, right? Probably the most common, particularly among smaller firms, is technology consulting. Okay, there are thousands of consulting firms across the United States. The larger firms, the more well-known ones, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, they'll engage in a variety of different types of consulting, whether it's strictly strategy, whether it's general management consulting, HR field consulting, mergers and acquisition, or funding process like going public, that type of thing. The consulting firms that will generally work with the law firms and the investment banks along within the company to carry that process out. So there'll be different functional areas or teams of consultants that work in specific fields or areas, right? Now that I tell you all that, why is it important that you know about consulting? It may not be the career field that you want to pursue. Well, number one, I would say for business acumen, right? A large number of business professionals work in consulting, or they work in industry having previously come from or worked in consulting. Of the top 25 business schools in the United States, nearly 50%, more than 40% of the graduates go into consulting after graduating from their MBA programs. That is a phenomenal number, and what that should tell you is that these are individuals who are highly knowledgeable, highly skilled, that are going into these very prestigious, lucrative positions, very exciting positions oftentimes based upon the projects or type of work that they get to do. And these individuals end up in very important places, and oftentimes when they leave consulting and go back to industry, they end up very high in organizations, right? Assuming higher level roles in the organization. So if you are going to network effectively with these individuals, it's good to know, once again, the path, their career path, what they undertook. So general business acumen, right? Also for yourself, you may want to pursue a career in this field. And if you do, understanding how it works, what the job or life looks like. Most of the time, consulting firms, these larger management consulting firms, you're required to live in a city with a major airport, because from your home consulting office, you fly out every Monday morning at dark 30 to arrive at the company's location, and you work there all week, usually through Thursday, and then Thursday night you fly back home. Spend Friday working, or sometimes Saturday too, from the home office, and then Monday you do it all over again. So you spend a lot of time traveling, a lot of frequent flyer miles add up over that time, that type of thing. So that's what the consulting life oftentimes looks like. And so if you're interested in pursuing that career, one, you need to understand what it entails, what they do, that type of thing, so you're knowledgeable going into it. And two, it's I would say those are the primary benefits if you want to do it, or if you want to network with others, right? And then again, it's just part of your general business knowledge and acumen as a business professional that you should know about. And so the most prestigious of the consulting firms, pretty much that stand alone, are McKinsey & Company, Bain & Company, and Boston Consulting Group, or BCG. McKinsey is primarily just strategy consulting, where Bain and BCG does a little bit broader set of consulting. And the next tier of large prestigious firms start with the big four, your Deloitte, Accenture, PwC, Ernst & Young, that type of thing. But tons of major companies are included right in that area as well. IBM, Booz Allen Hamilton. There's a whole list, and we provide a long list of major and minor consulting firms on in our article on thebusinessprofessor.com. So check that out, and hopefully you get something out of the information we provide about consulting firms.